what if I told you that hitting a 55% win rate on both teams to score bets is actually a slow, painful way to drain your bankroll? If you are trying to build wealth by treating this market like a coin flip, is it better to trust the law of averages, or is it better to understand the law of margins? Today, we are going to dismantle one of the most popular yet most misunderstood markets in sports betting, the both teams to score line. To the casual fan, it looks like a 50-50 proposition. Either they score or they don't. But bookmakers don't price this on true probability. They price it on implied probability plus a VIG. Let's look at the math that nobody talks about. Usually, the odds for this market hover around 1.90 or minus 110. This means a 50% strike rate guarantees you lose money. To simply break even, you need to be correct 52.4% of the time. To actually make a profit worth your time, you need to be hitting north of 56%. That 6% gap is where the entire industry makes its billions. It's called the probability gap. In this two-part series, I'm going to teach you how to cross that gap. We aren't going to rely on luck. We are going to use a 5-step protocol based on variance, tactical friction, and market volume. By the end of this, you won't look at a scoreboard. You'll look at the structural flaws of a football match. Let's start with step 1, deconstructing the data. The biggest trap for novice bettors is looking at a combined league table. Oh, this team has scored in 8 of their last 10 games. That statement is meaningless. It is noise. Why? Because human psychology changes based on geography. In football, teams suffer from what we call the venue split. You need to stop looking at them as one team and start seeing them as 2 separate entities, the home version and the away version. Consider the archetype of the mid-table drifter. When they play at home, under the pressure of their own fans, they tend to play conservatively. They control the tempo to avoid being booed. Their variance is low. But take that same team on the road, the pressure vanishes. The home team pushes up, leaving space behind, and suddenly, this conservative team transforms into a counter-attacking threat. We are looking for a specific profile: high variance travelers. We want teams that concede 1.8 goals per game away from home, but also score 1.2. We are hunting for volatility. If a team plays tight football at home, ignore them. We want the teams that lose tactical discipline the moment they step off the bus. This brings us to a counterintuitive truth in step 2. In a both teams to score strategy, a good team is often your worst enemy. Most bettors see a dominant league leader, let's call them the juggernaut, and think, well, they score 3 goals a game, so that's half the bet won. Wrong. The juggernaut kills the BTTS bet because they suffocate the opponent. They win 3-0. They control 70% of the possession. The opponent never gets a sniff of the goal. You need to delete the dominators from your shortlist. Instead, you are hunting for the glass cannons. A glass cannon is a team with elite attacking metrics, high shots on target, high final third entries, but a defensive structure that is fundamentally broken. Maybe their fullbacks push too high and never track back. Maybe their goalkeeper has a low save percentage. You want a team that is arrogant enough to attack, but incompetent enough to leave the back door wide open. We aren't looking for quality. We are looking for a specific type of flaw. Now that we have the teams, step 3 is the most critical, the matchup. We call this stylistic friction. You can have 2 glass cannon teams, but if their styles don't clash, the game will die. Imagine 2 teams that both rely exclusively on counterattacks. Who takes the initiative? Neither. They both sit deep, waiting for a mistake that never comes. You end up with a boring, tactical 0-0 draw in the midfield. We need chaos. The holy grail of this strategy is finding a high-press versus low-tech scenario. Here is the setup. Team A is an aggressive, high-pressing side that chases the ball maniacally. Team B is a side that insists on playing out from the back, but lacks the technical defenders to do it properly. This is where the magic happens. Team A forces Team B into errors in their own penalty box. Team B eventually breaks the press and finds open space because Team A has overcommitted. This creates an end-to-end basketball game state. We want the ball to bypass the midfield entirely. If the ball is spending time in the center circle, your bet is dying. Finally, before we even consider placing a wager, we have to audit the numbers. Step 4 is metric divergence. The scoreboard lies. A team might have won 2-0 last week, but if they conceded 2.5 expected goals, XGA, and were saved by the woodwork 3 times, they didn't play well, they got lucky. Luck is not a strategy. Regression is. We use XGA, expected goals against, as our primary filter. We are looking for a divergence. Specifically, we want a team whose actual goals conceded is lower than their expected goals conceded. This means they are statistically overperforming defensively. The market will see them as solid. We see them as a ticking time bomb. When you find a match where both teams have an XGA of over 1.50, but the bookmakers have priced the BTTS line at 1.90 because of recent lucky clean sheets, you have found a mathematical edge. You are betting on the inevitable regression to the mean. So, we have the venue split, the glass cannon profile, the stylistic friction, and the metric divergence. Theoretically, you now have the blueprint to beat the market. But here is the problem. Doing this analysis manually for 50 games every weekend takes hours. And even if you do the work, how do you know if the smart money agrees with you? How do you know if a sudden lineup change destroys your stylistic friction thesis an hour before kickoff? In part 2, I'm going to show you how to automate this entire process using AI and how to read the money flow to confirm your analysis before you risk a single dollar. In part 1, we built the theoretical engine. We talked about finding the high variance teams, avoiding the dominators, and identifying the metric divergence where XGA tells a different story than the league table. But theory alone doesn't print tickets. A perfect statistical match can be ruined by a single factor we haven't discussed yet: human desperation. This brings us to step 5, contextual urgency. Algorithms often struggle with this, but you need to understand it to filter your selections. We are talking about the game state. In a standard mid-season match, a 1-1 draw suits both managers. They shake hands, take the point, and the game dies in the 85th minute. That kills your value. You need to find matches where a draw is a disaster for at least one, preferably both teams. Think about a second-leg cup tie where the away team is trailing by a goal on aggregate. They cannot play conservatively. They are mathematically forced to abandon their defensive shape. Or consider a relegation 6-pointer late in the season. These matches defy standard stats because fear and desperation override tactical discipline. We call this negative game scripting. When a team is chasing a game, their XGA spikes vertically. You want to bet on games where the status quo is unacceptable. Now, before we pull the trigger, we need to look at the market itself. This is step 6, liquidity analysis. You are not playing against the house. You are playing against a market shaped by millions of dollars. Sometimes you'll do all your research, find a perfect glass cannon matchup, but then you look at the screen and see the odds for BTTS drifting from 1.80 out to 2.10. Why? Because the sharps, the professional betting syndicates, know something you don't. Maybe a key playmaker failed a late fitness test. Maybe the weather report predicts a torrential downpour that will slow the pitch. You need to respect the closing line value. If high-volume money is betting against your thesis, you are swimming upstream. You want to enter the market only when you see steam moves, sudden drops in odds caused by heavy liability, backing your prediction. If the smart money is eating the price, that is your final validation. Finally, step 7, in-play execution. Sometimes the best value isn't pre-match, it's live. Let's say a game starts and it's end-to-end chaos, but the score remains 0-0 after 20 minutes. The odds for BTTS will drift higher, giving you a better price. But how do you know if it's a trap? Use the Kalstrop Live Odds Analyzer. This tool detects artificial drifts that don't match the on-pitch performance metrics. If the XG is piling up but the odds are drifting, the model flags the inefficiency. And for the ultimate confirmation, look at Kalstrop Alpha. This isn't just a chat room, it's a consensus engine of our highest ROI users. If the alpha community is firing signals on a match that our AI has already flagged, you have the green light. Both teams to score doesn't have to be a coin flip. It is a solvable puzzle of variance, psychology, and market volume. At Kalstrop, our mission is transparency. We want to arm you with the science to fight back against the operator margins. Don't take my word for it. Check the link in the description to activate your free starter tier with a $25 credit. Test the Money Flow Hub, look at the AI models, and see the difference for yourself. Stop betting blind. Start betting smart. See you on the inside.